Have you ever caught yourself saying, "I'll start when things calm down"? Maybe you've been waiting for more confidence, more money, more energy, or simply the perfect moment to finally begin. It feels responsible, even wise. But what if the thing you're waiting for is the very reason you're staying stuck? If you've been wondering why you keep waiting for the perfect time, you're not alone. So many people delay the life they want because they believe readiness comes first. In reality, readiness often arrives after the first step, not before it. Have you ever caught yourself thinking this way? Today, we'll explore why you keep waiting for the perfect time, how this quiet habit steals opportunities, and how small acts of courage can lead to emotional healing, stronger discipline habits, and lasting inner peace. Sometimes waiting doesn't feel like giving up. It feels like being careful. You tell yourself you'll begin after one more course, one more paycheck, one more conversation, or one more sign that everything will work out. The problem is that waiting often disguises itself as preparation. It protects you from disappointment today, but it quietly steals possibility from tomorrow. Fear rarely says, "Don't do it." More often it whispers, "Not yet." The longer you listen, the more comfortable delay becomes, until hesitation starts feeling like your normal way of living, even though nothing meaningful has actually changed. Many people believe the perfect time is somewhere ahead, but every time they get closer, the standard changes. Today's excuse becomes tomorrow's excuse. When one obstacle disappears, another takes its place. Have you ever noticed that? The finish line keeps moving because perfection was never the real goal. The real obstacle is believing that imperfect action has no value. Yet every meaningful achievement begins with uncertainty. Growth doesn't ask you to be flawless. It simply asks you to begin before certainty arrives, because progress belongs to those willing to move before everything feels comfortable. People often wait until they feel confident enough to act, but confidence rarely appears in advance. It grows from experience. Think about every skill you've ever learned. None of them began with certainty. Each small attempt taught you something the next attempt couldn't have taught without it. That's how discipline habits are formed. Confidence isn't a requirement for action. It's a reward that follows repeated effort. The first step may feel uncomfortable, but it's often the moment your future begins to change. Action creates evidence that you're capable, and that evidence slowly replaces fear with trust in yourself. Waiting keeps your identity frozen. Every day you postpone something meaningful, you quietly reinforce the idea that you're someone who doesn't follow through. But the opposite is equally true. One small action tells your mind a different story. You become someone who acts despite uncertainty. That identity grows stronger every time you repeat it. Progress isn't created by dramatic breakthroughs. It's created by ordinary choices made consistently. Those choices slowly replace self-doubt with quiet confidence and lasting resilience. Before long, discipline stops feeling forced because it has become part of who you are. It's easy to believe tomorrow will somehow offer more motivation than today. But tomorrow usually brings new responsibilities, new distractions, and new reasons to wait. The life you want isn't delayed because the calendar hasn't changed. It's delayed because your decision hasn't changed. Emotional healing often begins with accepting that today's imperfect opportunity is more valuable than tomorrow's imaginary certainty. When you stop demanding ideal conditions, you discover that progress has been available much longer than you realized. The ordinary moment you're living right now may already be enough to begin creating meaningful change. Social media often makes success look dramatic. Big announcements. Huge milestones. Instant transformation. Real growth usually looks very different. It's one workout when you don't feel like exercising. One page written. One difficult conversation handled with maturity. One healthy choice repeated again tomorrow. Quiet consistency rarely receives applause, but it creates extraordinary results over time. Do you ever wonder why this keeps happening to you? Perhaps you've been waiting for dramatic motivation instead of trusting ordinary discipline. Small actions repeated long enough eventually become the foundation of remarkable results. Every decision teaches your mind what to expect from you. When you repeatedly delay important actions, you strengthen the habit of postponement. When you consistently honor small commitments, you strengthen trust in yourself. That trust becomes one of the strongest forms of inner peace because you no longer depend on motivation alone. You know you'll show up even when you don't feel like it. Your future isn't built in one extraordinary moment. It's shaped by the ordinary decisions nobody else notices. The promises you keep to yourself quietly become the character that carries you through life's hardest seasons. The people you admire weren't given perfect conditions. They learned to move through uncertainty one step at a time. They accepted that mistakes would happen and that growth would come through persistence rather than perfect planning. Faith, patience, gratitude, and responsibility work together when you stop waiting for certainty and begin trusting the process. The perfect time isn't something you eventually find. It's something you slowly create every time you choose action over hesitation. Every small step you take today becomes the reason tomorrow feels easier than yesterday. If you've been asking yourself why you keep waiting for the perfect time, remember this: the life you're hoping for doesn't begin after fear disappears. It begins the moment you decide fear doesn't get to make your decisions anymore. Every small step builds stronger discipline habits, greater emotional healing, and deeper inner peace. The perfect time has never been about the calendar. It's always been about the choice you're willing to make today. Share your thoughts below. How are you healing today? And if this message spoke to you, subscribe to Motivation and Healing for more conversations that help you build strength, find peace, and move forward with purpose.